Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, as usual, I went on Instagram and did a temperature check. So be sure to follow me on Instagram. Basically, every so often throughout the week, I will be on there, be on there, and I will ask you guys kind of if you have any topics, questions, advice, or big patterns, things you're noticing, basically just anything that's on your mind. And when I notice that there are repeating questions or topics in the collective of our group, I really try to hone in on those and then talk about those in a video. So let's just jump on in. So a big topic was food this week and how to have a healthy relationship with food, how to get on a good path with food and things of that nature. This is a very kind of, I don't want to say heavy topic, but every topic we talk about, I say this all the time, is pretty broad, and I try to, in 15-20 minutes or however long these videos are, extract what I think is the most valuable and kind of just most powerful information that you can receive in that time. So let's start with this. Food can be medicine or poison. People use this quote all the time, but truly food can be used as something to lower your vibration, to obviously disrupt bodily functions, to impact physical well-being, and in turn obviously aesthetics, skin, hair, your whole hormonal balance. Like what you eat can literally destroy you, and what you can eat can also be medicine, and it can heal all those things. It can heal, it can heal your liver, it can heal all your internal organs, you can heal your gut, and in turn you can rebalance your hormones. You can literally allow your body systems to function much better. In turn, obviously you have a higher sense of well-being. In turn, obviously you'll be more fit. And so food is just like this one thing that we have to do. We have to eat every day to survive and to thrive. And this one thing can be used as, like I said, something that can really pull you down from equilibrium, and it can also be something that can be used to literally lift you up. And in turn, like, that kind of choice is ours. And I think that from a young age, for a long time in society, it's really instilled in us that healthy food is not delicious and then unhealthy food is delicious. I think that's a very strong subconscious program placed to things like burgers and fries and pizzas and desserts and all those sodas, things like that are always kind of seen as those delicious items, or people call it having a cheat day or whatever it is. Some people say, do you have a cheat day? To me, it's just kind of an odd question, which I'll talk about in a second. I know what someone's asking me, but I'll explain my kind of opinion on that in a second. But basically, that's the delicious food, and then healthy food is just salad and boring greens. And what that instilled in someone is that they kind of have to make a decision. Do they get to live kind of a life of yummy, delicious pleasure, but deal with the consequences of eating that food? Or do you want to eat this boring, miserable food and be fit? So what it does is subconscious loop or tie that the unhealthy food is, gonna release serotonin, and it's positive and delicious, and then healthy food is going to do the opposite. It's not exciting, it's not pleasurable, and etc., etc. As we know now, I feel like people have come forward enough, momentum has been gained in the whole veganism movement, where you can make delicious meals that are completely plant-based with no animal product. I live in Los Angeles. There's a ton of vegan restaurants, and you can get the most delicious food. Obviously, sometimes that's just proof that you can make amazing, delicious food that is clean, and that is gonna fulfill your macronutrient values for the day, and in turn is going to fuel you. And so I think it's first really important to dissect that healthy food can be delicious. I never wanted to on purpose try to push or plug genuinely anything on someone else. I think it'll add value. But if you guys have been watching me, in January at the end of January, I released the 21-day Body by PB reset, which is something I put like I said, hundreds of hours into, and so literally my entire energetic being basically into in January, when I was finishing up and polishing it up and getting it all ready for you guys, which is basically the 21-day eating program that is plant-based, but it's easy to make at home. They're easy meals, 5 to 15 minutes. I think the maximum meal on there would take would be, if you took your time, 25-30 minutes. If you honestly, that's the maximum. Most I would say are 5 to 15, about 15 minutes to make, and you eat in line with the chakra. So you'd start the plan on a Tuesday and then do it for 3 weeks, so 21 days, and you eat each meal is associated with the chakra. So on Tuesday, which is ruled by Mars, you eat for the root chakra, and Wednesday sacral, so things like that. So that's a wonderful kind of guide, and I released that guide because I do understand how hard it is to start this journey, right? Because we're saying finally we can realize, okay, healthy food can be, you know, delicious. And then we start thinking, okay, but that's at restaurants, how can we make this at home? So there's so many layers of subconscious programming that go into food. Like, it seems so simple, like buy food and just eat healthy. Like, it just seems, the solution sometimes seems so obvious, but it's not that obvious because of the layers that, you know, about. The same thing if we can go into a relationship and say, like, yeah, to find someone who treats you well. And as we know, we've made so many videos dissecting relationships and thought patterns and subconscious thought patterns and why and different attachment styles, things like that. Everything is a much deeper root. On the outside, the solution may be simple, but the inner work is where it's difficult. It's like the general solution is simple, but the amount of work that needs to be done is not so simple. And that's why it takes time and understanding and awareness, and in turn self-reflection to get there. So next, you basically have to rewire your subconscious mind to understand that you can make healthy, you know, meals at home that are easy to make, that you can fit into your schedule. All of us are busy, thankfully, not thankfully, but now that we've kind of all been able to slow down, we have more time, right, to dedicate to cooking and things like that. This is why also I was talking about on Instagram how this is the perfect time to do, if you want to do my research, if you want to follow something else. Like, I'm not here to, like I said, shove anything on you. If you resonate with me and you are interested in that, I'll have that link down below. It's on my website, of course. But basically, next year we're gonna rewire subconscious to understand, to basically instill in ourselves that we can make healthy food easily at home. Now, healthy is gonna have a different definition to anyone. I personally eat a plant-based diet. For me, I can speak for myself and the immense difference I notice if I'm eating plant-based or not, in terms of my awareness, in terms of my mental clarity, my energy, my physique, my bowel movements, just my whole being. I feel like not eating plant-based, you're living at 80%, living plant-based, you're living at 90 above. First making the tie that healthy food can be delicious. Two, that healthy and delicious food can be made by you in the times that you desire. Spend the time now on crafting and creating healthy meals for you, or spend the time later, you know, having to deal with diseases and things of that nature. It's kind of like a harsh reality where you have to face a harsh truth. And not even harsh, like, I just feel like, on a side note, there's so many truths that we are uncomfortable to come to terms with. That's why people like to glide over them or pretend it's not real, you know, or pretend that it's not as crucial as it is, and things of that nature, right? Like, I don't know, in our society, I think that it's very, you want to feel good, right? You want to be healthy, and you want to feel light, and you want to feel fit and active and whatever it is. And oftentimes, you know, we don't want to face the reality that sometimes the choices we're making aren't good for us. Like, for me, I really had to face reality. Like, for me, I really had like an addiction to sweets. I know it sounds crazy, but like the point where I'd have way too many, in my opinion, from like what I should be having, sweets in a day. And like, I could just be like, yeah, whatever. It's really easy to glide over things, especially our society really just wants to be like positive about everything, and just this and body positivity, this, and you know, I'm all for that, but I'm also about being real about health and what's actually going on. You know what I mean? Like, you can have all the body positivity you want, but if your body is not functioning at its highest performance or at a high level of vitality, you know, that's your responsibility at the end of the day. And so, and for me, like, I finally decided to take accountability. I've talked about this before with eating. For me, I literally eat what my 21-day reset is every single day, except for I just don't always follow the chakras, but it's the exact same style of eating as described in the guide. I found a system that works for me, and because it took me so long to curate a system that works for me, a system that's easy, that's kind of just like, you don't have to think about it, but it produces amazing results and allows me to get all the nutrients I need, all my macros, all my vitamins, minerals daily, without having to stress about it, and in a very easy kind of streamlined way. That's why I was so excited to share that guide. But again, you could find what works for you if that's not something you're interested in. So finding a routine that works for you. Are you gonna maybe make 2 meals a day, maybe 2 big meals a day? You're gonna make three meals a day. Finding a system that works for you. So just being honest with yourself, right, about what parts of your nutrition are healthy and what parts are not healthy, and what it's stemming from. So understanding why certain behaviors stem from. For me, I noticed I would eat sweets because they're so delicious, and it was like a quick sense of pleasure. You know, some people drink alcohol for that reason. Some people are, you know, sleep around for that reason, or whatever it is, or indulge in what they indulge in. For me, it was like an acceptable form of like pleasure. Like if I had a stressful day or I was tired or whatever, I could go eat a bag of sweets or whatever it was, or like a brownie, vegan of course, but still, like I'm telling you, I was like, I know like you should not be having technically more than 20 grams of sugar a day to be healthy. There's tons of research, tons of books that are written on how addictive and bad sugar is for you. So for me, I found what the root cause of that was. So then whenever I would crave it, I knew why. I wanted like that quick rush of like dopamine and that quick sensation of pleasure. I just had to kind of work for myself to see that that was kind of like a serpent and kind of just tame that within me, to understand like, no, like just because I have this desire for this instant satisfaction doesn't mean that I need to go, you know, get that. So I would, you know, take a deep breath, understand what that is, and like people say, have some water, or like it passes. Like everything's a cycle. First it's really strong, the craving is really strong, you want that brownie or whatever. For you it's like junk food or an unhealthy food and you really want that, and it's like so strong, and then with time, as you say no to it, it slows down and it's not as aggressive. I talked about it with me with alcohol. I never was like an alcoholic or anything, that I even drink a lot. I have like a glass or two of wine, but I just realized again that that doesn't really serve me at all. That for me, it's more of a like choice in terms of vibration. Alcohol lowers your vibration. I mean, it's I've tried the vibrational scale a ton. It drops you, like, I don't know what the exact vibration of alcohol is, but it's lower than, or I know I'm on a vibrational scale. For some people who are in a really deep level of depression, things like that, alcohol could actually lift them up. That's why people feel pleasure when some people when they drink it. For me, like, I just know that it lowers me, so I'm not gonna, like, do all this work to get on a high vibration, like eating clean and doing yoga, meditating and journaling, going for walks and eating healthy. I don't want to like bring myself, I'm like taking 10 steps forward, why am I going to take 2-3 steps back, you know? So recognizing the root cause of why you're eating a certain way. Oftentimes, honestly, it's a lack of information. You've just eaten the way you've eaten since you've grown up. You've just, you know, grabbed frozen food at Trader Joe's and that's been your week and you never questioned it. When you start to kind of, you know, take a step back and reevaluate, be like, you know what, I want to make a change for me. It's not, you know, it's a change for your health. When you start feeling healthier, like I'm saying, it's a trickle down effect. You feel healthier, you have more energy, you have more mental clarity, you feel more grounded, you feel more stable, your skin looks better, you look better, you feel more fit. Like, it's like this snowball of positivity that arises from it when you just make that commitment. So like just deciding that you're going to do it, and you have to find a system. Again, like different systems work for everyone, so I can't just sit here and give you guys hundreds of examples of systems. For me, the two systems that I would do, my original Body Guide by PB Guide is how I originally ate from like last summer, and it was like my first kind of style of eating that I discovered that was sustainable and worked really well. And it'd be as I came back to being plant-based and kind of eating a little more integrated with the spiritual side. That's when I released the 21-day reset. So I have, if you want more information, I have my guides available for you guys. But if not, there's tons of, you know, other resources out there where you can find a way of eating that works for you. But I think that removing that stigma, removing those subconscious beliefs about being healthy, and getting, that's not step one. 2, being real with yourself, understanding the damage that you're causing yourself by eating healthy. I took the damage I was causing myself with eating so much sweets. It's not good for my skin. It would break my skin out. I could tell it would be aging my skin. I would feel more on edge, I would crash, my sleep wasn't better, I would be more anxious. From sugar, I could notice that. From alcohol, same thing, a lot more anxiety, like feelings of hopelessness just from out of nowhere, things like that. So I was just real with myself of what the causes were. I have to be honest, like it's hard to admit. I'd look at me and be like, you know what, like I don't look as good when I'm eating like this. And it's really, like I said, I just know sometimes facing the truth allows you to grow. When you face what's really happening, it allows you, that awareness allows you to understand, to grow, and then to transform. If you're always just glide over something, you would stay in the discomfort trying to convince yourself it was comfort. But just to, in that moment, face that discomfort, to realize where and why that's stemming from, and then to make those changes. You're gonna look back and be like, I am so happy I took these 1,000 steps forward instead of just staying in the same place and gliding over. I don't know, for me, I just can't lie to myself. And when I notice that I'm not feeling or looking my best, and obviously it's usually both from the food I'm eating, I just get real and I say, you know what, this is what's happening, this is what I'm doing, and it puts you in power mode. It gives you empowerment when you understand that you're in charge of, you know, the food that you put in your body. And I'm telling you, your physique is 75% diet. I know it's hard to understand. For me, there's been times where I was working out like literally like an athlete, like doing insane cardio and weights every single day almost, but I wasn't eating as clean. And then as soon as I switched my diet and worked out less, I looked better when I'd be doing Pilates, eating clean, than when I'd be eating still pretty healthy, but not like plant-based, not how I do now, but working out like a maniac, like literally working out so hard. And so I just want to tell you that you don't need to work out like that. Instead, you don't need to push like and like push yourself forward and motivate and drive. I think it's really important to get your body moving. I think it's really great to build muscle and use weights and things like that, but also just recognize the power you have just of how you look, feel, think, vibrate, just by what you choose to put in your mouth. And that little bit of time every day, that 5 to 15 minutes to make your meals, whether it's 1 to 3 meals a day, probably it's gonna be 2 to 3, that's gonna give you such a beautiful effect in the long run, and you have that power in your hands. And I'm literally only here to uplift you and to kind of be, you know, hopefully be, I don't know if it's cliche, but be the light so that we can, you know, make those changes. So I hope that was helpful and give you some information on all of that. Like I said, I'll have everything I talked about down below. That was a lot that we discussed. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. If you resonated with me, I would love for you to subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and give me a thumbs up if you do want to see more health related videos and things of that nature. Leave me a comment and see me on my website and on Instagram, and I will see you guys so soon. Bye.